Coming to you from the venue that hosted the Super Bowl back in February of '06. Welcome to Ford Field in downtown Detroit. Today, after a crazy opening weekend, it's on to week 2, and we've got a good one here between the Minnesota Vikings and the Detroit Lions. The first game's out of the way. Time to buckle down for the long season ahead, and we're off in week 2. And that one will bounce out of the back of the end zone, so we will start here at the 25.
Swift to start the drive.
And he is met quickly in the backfield. Down he goes, folded like a lawn chair. It'll go as a loss of a yard on the game's first play. Second down.
Part of their struggles last week was getting these negative plays on first and second down. That's something they have to be wary of as this game continues.
After the loss to start out, here's 2nd and 11.
They'll stay on the ground with Swift.
And for a second straight play, the Lion defense drops him behind the line of scrimmage. 2 yards the loss there. Now 3rd and 14.
You can bet they're not going to go away from the running game anytime soon, but this is obviously not a good start. 2 carries, 2 runs, both stop for a loss.
So certainly not the start they were looking for here as they come up on a 3rd and 14.
To throw, it's Lance.
And that is incomplete.
That was their first 3rd down try of the game, and clearly something was off in the execution of that play. Good news, they've got a whole game left to clean that up and start clicking on those key 3rd down throws.
On is the punter Townsend as he gets this one away.
And this punt sails over the sideline, and the spot, it looks to be right at the 25-yard line. They'll start out on the ground in Saquon Barkley. And not much to speak of. Call it a 1-yard gain up to the 26.
That felt like a trap because it looked to me like the opposing front was on that play from the get-go. They had everyone crashing the ball carrier before he even made the line, and they hold him to just a yard.
Play got just a yard. Here's 2nd and 9 from the 26. To throw, it's Murray. The Vikings after him, and they get there for the sack. They dial up the corner blitz that time, and it delivers to the tune of a 9-yard loss. Now on 3rd and long, they'll look to throw.
And that is knocked away in the middle of the field and incomplete.
Sometimes the game is pretty simple. Put a few extra defensive backs on the field, give them nowhere to throw the football, force the incompletion, and get off the field on 3rd down.
And now the punter, Tress Way, as he sends this one away. This is taken at the 23. That's going to go in the books as a 55-yard punt. Well done. And the Vikings will take over here 1st and 10. Here are the Vikings now to start their next drive.
Early on, you know, Charles, every game could be called a measuring stick game. But I think when it comes within your division like this, it's a measuring stick game with a little extra intrigue.
I would agree with that totally because all division games have a little extra to them. But I like where this game is situated because at this stage of the season, it has that little extra juice. But at the same time, it's not a make or break if this were, let's say, week 15, 16, somewhere in that neighborhood.
Officially nothing on that last run. They'll try again, 2nd and 10. This is Swift on the counter. And room to run as he's up past the 35-yard line. 9 yards, not quite enough, and they'll be left now with 3rd and 1. Now, this defense for the Lions, terrific last week in the season-opening victory.
And I'm eager to see the game plan and trying to attack them this week, because when you take it away 4 times through interceptions, what do you do now when you go into a game? Do you decide you can't throw the ball? Do you try and run it more? Or do you tell your quarterback, make sure you see your guys?
And he fires one that's intercepted. And the Lions are going to take possession of the football. So problems with errant passing continuing. Remember, he threw 2 picks in the loss last week, and now another here in this first quarter.
And sometimes, partner, this is the result of a quarterback who's simply trying to do too much. Feels like he's trying to make up for what he did last week, and he can't do it all on one throw.
After the turnover, here's Murray. It's a short one here, complete to the tight end. Touchdown, Detroit!
And what a weapon he is at the tight end spot, because when they throw him the football downfield, they count on him getting additional yardage almost every time. And that's exactly what he did there. Caught that, ran with it, all the way to the end zone.
Extra point by Carlson, up and good. And it's now a 7-0 game. Following the touchdown, ready to kick it away is Carlson. And here comes a return from a few steps into the end zone. And he'll be brought down shy of the 20, so the decision to bring it out of the end zone, not a good one. Here are the Vikings now to start their next drive. Still in the first half, but this offense has struggled. Haven't really been able to get anything going, not only in the points category, but in the yards category. We'll see if they can do better here on this drive. It's a 6-yard gain on the ground, and that'll make it 2nd and 4.
A quick burst there, and he nicely bit off a pretty decent gain.
The last run got 6, now 2nd and 4. The Lance now to throw. That's complete to DK Metcalf. And they're able to get this one across the 35. On 1st and 10, it's Swift. Taken down at the 42.
Give credit to the defense for stringing that play out, and they gave up no cutback angle. You know he was trying to dart through. No place for him to go. A nice job there, only giving up a 3-yard gain.
Coming up on 2nd and 7. Once again, it's Swift. And this time they were waiting for him as he'll be knocked down before he can get back to the line of scrimmage. It'll go down as a 2-yard loss, and it brings up a 3rd down.
We think, Brandon, I like the intensity this defense is showing right here in these first few drives. They're not just holding the line because they're doing their job, but they're doing more than that, aren't they? They're getting a nice push into the offensive backfield.
And a great example right there from... Oh, Lance has it knocked free. The ball is loose. After 7-0 on EA Sports. Here's Tommy Townsend on to punt. And he gets it away. A directional kick going toward the sideline. And no return here. Where will they spot him? They say just outside the 20-yard line. The Detroit offense ready to begin their drive.
Well, partner, you know, coaches always say that every play is designed to score a touchdown. Sometimes that's not really true, but last drive, that was the case. One play to get into the end zone, and now they'll try to duplicate that success here.
And it's rare for those moments to happen. Incredible when they do. And you saw the celebration. Pure, unbridled joy after that one. Well, sometimes the defense just beats you. Great coverage from the secondary. All of them in the proper position. So instead of trying to throw into tight coverage, he found a way to throw it away and come back and try again the next down.
To throw again on second down. Murray, he's going to look deep for Watkins. And got his man complete.
And he's going to be taken down at about the 33.
Running their plays over and over during the week can often get robotic for an offense, but on game day they can often flow smoothly, as that one just did.
Working with the lead, trying to get to 2-0. Here's 1st and 10.
Murray now to throw. They'll set up the screen to Barkley.
And he'll be taken down here just shy of the 30. Well, speed is definitely a calling card if you play cornerback in this league, and he does a terrific job there of hustling in quickly to make the play.
Looking to throw again on second down. Murray. And in for the Lions touchdown.
Chris Godwin
with career touchdown number 60.
And the Lions have taken a 2-touchdown lead now.
Extra point by Carlson, up and good. And it's now 14-0. Following the touchdown, ready to kick it away is Carlson.
Well, here comes a return from the middle of the end zone. And not a good return here at all, as they'll be forced to start at the 12-yard line.
Here are the Vikings now to start their next drive. And they're in a bind early here, down 14-0. Are you worried at this stage or still too early?
You're worried. You're just trying not to transmit it to the rest of your team. You want to make sure that they stay positive. But at the same time, you're wondering, how are we going to move the football? What do we have on this play sheet that can work? Get back to basics is usually your answer. And make sure you find the guy who can move the ball fastest for you if you just get it in his hands.
Yeah, still second quarter. You get points on the board here. I think you're feeling okay. Ball up to the 35 now as they come up on 1st and 10.
Swift going to try up the middle.
And he'll rumble for about 5, up close to the 40. After the pickup of 5, here's 2nd and 5. Now we've got movement up front. And I think this is going to be on Minnesota.
So they accept the penalty, of course, and push the offense backwards a bit.
A false start penalty, and now they're back to needing 10 yards on 2nd down.
Here's Lance.
Throwing over the middle, but it's incomplete.
Certainly looked like someone was very confident in his ability to fit that one in. I would say he was overconfident because there wasn't a whole lot of separation there. Had that one covered pretty well downfield and knocked it away.
Throwing is Lance on 3rd down.
Flushed out right. And a big loss here as he's taken down.
Lance to throw for it on 4th down.
A hit as he throws, and this is going to be incomplete. A surprising move to go for it, and predictably, at least somewhat predictably, it doesn't pay off. And now the football's going to go over, already being placed at the 15-yard line. And that is caught. Touchdown, Detroit. A great play there. With 2 touchdowns on the season, both in this game. And the Lions are able to strike quickly to add on to their lead. Extra point by Carlson, up and good. And that makes the score 21-0. Following the touchdown, ready to kick it away is Carlson.
They'll elect to bring it out here from the end zone. And he's probably realizing he should have stayed in the end zone as he can only muster a return to the 14-yard line.
For most people, the excitement of the kickoff return is to see a long one that goes back in the opposite direction. But for the guys covering it, is being able to stop them deep in their own territory. How about that incredible form tackle right there? Shouldering the ball carrier, and down he goes.
Chris Jones on the stop.
That's a really nice, tough run inside, and they gained 5 yards on it. And to be frank about it, most offenses don't expect to get 5 yards on a play call like that. So when they do, they go back to their huddle with a little pep in their steps. They're starting to think that they're starting to dominate the line of scrimmage.
Right back to Swift again on second down. And he'll get only a couple up to the 22.
They just keep trying, but so far, finding no room for him to run.
None whatsoever. In fact, you run the numbers. He's under 3 yards a carry at the moment.
On the double.
2 minutes remaining in this first half of football. We remind you that coming up at halftime, Jonathan Coachman will be alongside. He'll have highlights and analysis from Orlando of this first half of action. Flush to him. Now the pressure comes and he goes down. Just inside the 10, back at the 9. Multiple defenders getting to him there for a huge loss. The Vikings send out their punter as the drive goes backwards, so he's on to punt it away. And he got that one all wrong. That goes almost directly out of bounds, and this is going to be spotted inside the 25-yard line. On play action, it's Murray. And the throw left sideline here is caught, but they'll rule it incomplete. Couldn't keep his feet in. Second down. Once again, they'll go from the 23-yard line on 2nd and 10. Out of the shotgun, they run with Barkley. He is taken down at the 21 after a short gain of 2. Well, good field position to start the drive, but under the gun now here on 3rd and 8. Murray now. He's got his man. It's caught for a Lion touchdown. Chris Godwin, 2 catches, 2 touchdowns here so far. And the Lions are able to widen their lead here in this first half. Extra point by Carlson, up and good. And the rout is on here in this first half. Following the touchdown, ready to kick it away is Carlson. And this will be a touchback, so they'll bring it out to the 25. Here are the Vikings now to start their next drive. And with a little under a minute remaining, they may try to put something together here just to try to cut into that deficit. A good game there on first down. That run will get them 7 up to the 32-yard line. Now the offense going to use the first of their timeouts as they get the stoppage with just under 50 seconds remaining in half number 1. They'll operate from the 32-yard line here, 2nd and 3. They will run straight ahead with Swift.
Now that's the way to do it. Hand it to someone with vision and good footwork, and add in a little bit of power, and you find a way to pick up first downs.
On the handoff, this is Swift. And he can only manage to get a couple. 2nd and 8 coming up.
They suspected that it was a power play up the middle coming at them, and boy, were they right. That defense got downhill in a hurry and limited them to just a couple on first down.
Now, meanwhile, a pass that should have been intercepted, but it winds up falling incomplete.
Well, this defense is certainly organized and playing off of each other because the rush is providing pressure and the coverage is forcing incompletions and capitalizing on mistakes.
And the Lions pressure too strong. Down he goes. 13
That is now 2 sacks for him here in this first half. And they're going to take a timeout defensively. So with 4th down coming up, they go ahead and burn it and say we'll see what happens.
Here's Tommy Townsend now,
as he'll punt it away for the 4th time today. He'll return it from the 6. So we've come to halftime after a very one-sided beginning to this one. As we'll send you down to Orlando, and we check in with Jonathan Coachman for our EA Sports Halftime Report. Coach. We welcome you back now. Alongside Charles Davis, I'm Brandon Gunn, getting set for quarter number 3 here. The Lions in the lead, and they're going to get the football first as well as the second half is underway. And we'll see a return here from the end zone. And he'll be brought down shy of the 20, so the decision to bring it out of the end zone, not a good one. The Lions offense ready to kick off their next drive. And it's hard to imagine that the first half could have gone any better for them, so what's the approach here in the second half?
Just continue to play smart football because they got the other team down and they feel good about the position they're in. The obvious thing people would say is just keep attacking, but I think you also have to be smart about it. Avoid turnovers. That's about the only thing that can derail you at this point. Attack, but make sure you take care of the ball.
The last run got a couple. Here's 2nd and 8. They fake the handoff. Now Murray. All that gets him is just a yard, and now it's 3rd down.
I'm not quite sure what he thought he saw there, but the reality was certainly a much different picture than what he anticipated. And give credit to the defense. They were down on the flash when he broke out of there, and they forced him out with almost nothing to show for his efforts.
Looking right side, and that's complete to Watkins. And he's going to have a Lions first down as they're able to get the 3rd down conversion. This offense really looking polished these first couple of weeks. Here's 1st and 10 to about the 40-yard line. In the first half, he was held in check on the ground, but despite that lack of production, they still have the lead.
Yeah, they've got to feel fortunate about that. If they could actually get production from their lead horse, that would help open up this offense and widen this margin, too.
The last run good for 2. Here's 2nd and 8. They'll go to Barkley again. And they'll get to him after a gain of 7 to the 47. So they just need 1 yard here to pick up the first down. They'll try to run for it with Barkley. Oh, he's got some breathing room. Touchdown, Detroit.
I guess when you look back on it, it was just a matter of time until he popped a big one like that. And, you know, at halftime, you and I discussed it. They had done a nice job on him in the first half. But there were a couple of occasions where it felt like he might wiggle out of traffic and take it to the house. Finally here in the second half, that got done.
Following the touchdown, ready to kick it away is Carlson. This will be brought out from the middle of the end zone. And in hindsight, probably should have taken a knee as he only gets this out to the 16-yard line. Here are the Vikings now to start their next drive. They'll start on the ground with Swift. And he'll manage to pick up about 4. It's 2nd down. The ball resting on the 20. Here's 2nd and 6. Here's a handoff to Swift. And he'll get this up to the 30-yard line. So 1st and 10 now from the 30.
They'll run here with Swift.
And he went nowhere. He'll lose yardage back to the 29. Officially, it's a 1-yard loss. That's going to bring up 2nd and 11.
You got to figure the further they fall behind, the more you think that they'll get away from the run. They're trying to stick with it, but the results, they just aren't there.
On 2nd and 11 now.
Lance.
Oh, he tries to get it to Metcalf, but it's intercepted.
Picked up by Caleb Farley. And the Lions are going to take possession of the football. And right about now, you start to think, and maybe they're starting to think, gosh, maybe points aren't going to happen for us in this game.
Well, it's a thought that is worth having because so far in this game, this defense has not just had the upper hand. They've appeared to be a step ahead, maybe even 2 steps, to everything they've done. They've had an answer for everything this offense has thrown at them.
On 1st and 10, here's Murray. Wide open is Watkins. He's got him. And he doesn't quite make it, taking it within an eyelash. Dropped at the 1. A really good pickup of 28 yards. They'll try and run for it with Barkley. And he takes this one in for a Lions touchdown. Saquon Barkley. His first rushing touchdown on the year. And the Lions have taken a 6-touchdown lead.
Yeah, I tell you what, Charles, I know that you don't put a ton of stock into power rankings and things of that nature, but another score here, and 2 weeks into the season, this is maybe the most impressive team in the NFL. Would you agree?
Well, they've certainly sold me as they've sold you, and I agree with you, no question about it. They won easily last week. They're on their way to another lopsided victory here. They're definitely a team to be reckoned with, and they are serving notice to the rest of the league.
Following the touchdown, ready to kick it away is Carlson.
Well, this is going to be returned from the middle of the end zone. And he's probably realizing he should have stayed in the end zone as he can only muster a return to the 14-yard line.
In this position, trying to get back into the game, teams are looking for a spark from their special teams. That's not what they got, though. They got a setback, and they have a long field to cover if they want to try and put points on the board.
Here are the Vikings now to start their next drive. And here we are almost through 3 quarters of play, and this passing game still has not really found any kind of rhythm.
Put it mildly, because they're not even over 100 yards yet. And in today's NFL, where it's a pass-first league, that is quite surprising. Not many teams patient enough to stick with the run. Everybody wants to advance the ball through the air. They've got to get their timing back. As a defensive back, you have some weapons at your disposal that we don't often talk about. And you can read the receiver's eyes, you can read his hands, and you know that the arrival of the ball is imminent. And that allows you to make a play on it, and oftentimes knock it away.
4 yards the gain, and it'll bring up a 3rd down.
Brendan, all things considered, they have to feel pretty good about getting that type of a gain, considering the blitz that they just had against them.
These guys have punted 4 times already, and they're staring at a 5th, barring a conversion here on 3rd down.
Well, Lance throws the interception, his 3rd. Picked up by Andre Sisco. And the Lions are going to take possession of the football.
It certainly feels like this defensive group has figured this guy out to the tune of a big lead in this one. And you know that he's frustrated with how this game has gone. And now with back-to-back interceptions, he's got to find a way to get out of his own head and start making better plays.
90 yards for him on the ground now as he has been terrific here this afternoon.
He continues to be effective running the football, a big reason that they have the lead.
And I love one of the quotes that I read about him where he said of himself, "I love it when a team just hops on my back and I just carry them along."
And they're not going to get to the line to run another play. So we will switch ends as the 3rd quarter has come to a close.
Line of scrimmage, the 15. It's 1st and 10.
They'll run it again with Barkley. And effective running here. He'll take it down inside the 10. It's a 6-yard pickup, and it gets him to 2nd and 4.
Oh, that's one to warm the hearts of all those old-school football players, isn't it? tough, hard, gritty run. Got behind his pads, bowled over a few people. Look at that one, right up the gut.
So through 3 quarters, no reason to lighten up now. Calling no gain that time as it's going to leave him with a third and about 3 to go. The defensive line made pretty easy work of the offensive line that time.
And people get tired of the cliche that the battle is won in the trenches. But it's a cliche because it's true. And how about the battle right there? One on the edge, and the ball carrier did not benefit.
On 3rd down, Barkley. Yeah, this is only going to be a gain of 2. He needed 3. It's 4th and 1. He handed it off there, but I don't really know if he would have kept it or tried to do anything else if it would have mattered.
Yeah, it's not always a wrong read when a play gets stacked up. Sometimes they're just at the line of scrimmage. There's just too many bodies to maneuver.
And as a result, now they're looking at a 4th down. The kick by Carlson is good, and that will extend their lead even further.
Well, ultimately, I'm not really sure that they're going to need those 3 points, but they'll take the 3 and they pad that lead.
Yeah, this one's already wrapped up, but you and I both know if you're an offensive coordinator, you never let up on the gas unless the head coach tells you to do so. And maybe you've actually clicked him off in your headset so you can keep calling plays and trying to add to this lead.
After the made field goal, Carlson now sets up to kick this away.
And here comes a return from the middle of the end zone. And the decision to bring it out, not a good one, as he's tackled at the 15.
In this position, trying to get back into the game, teams are looking for a spark from their special teams. That's not what they got, though. They got a setback, and they have a long field to cover if they want to try and put points on the board.
The first play of the drive there is incomplete.
And that's another play that's painted the picture of this game overall. It's been a blowout. It's been continually fueled by big turnovers and stops for one side and an inability to advance the ball from the other.
On 2nd and 10, Lance. And his pass is intercepted for the 4th time today.
Picked up by Divine Diablo.
And the Lions are going to take possession of the football. Yet another mistake after the interception there. And guys, you look up at the scoreboard, they just got to be thinking this one cannot get over fast enough.
It certainly can't. And also what happens when you get this big of a deficit, you're supposed...
And now this is intercepted. My goodness.
And the Vikings are going to get the football here at their own 23.
Now they get a 4th quarter pick. A little something to hang their hat on, I guess.
Okay, so let's face it, though. Who's happy about this play? Fantasy guys, right?
Yeah.
The analytics will tell you one thing or another. That's a bad play on one hand, a good play on the other. It's all about the fantasy points here.
Yeah, because this ball game is over.
Now play fake. Lance.
And incomplete on the deep ball.
That's coverage you'd expect to see in a tie game late. Not in a lopsided game like this. They are not letting up.
Play action. Now it's Lance.
Rolling to his left. And he can't find anywhere to go with it. And he goes down. It'll be a sack and a loss of 3, but more importantly, it brings up 4th down.
One thing that I liked about this guy during the draft process was his motor. Of course, I loved his skills, but he plays hard on every down.
And that motor on full display there as he gets his first in it. And now here's another interception.
Picked up by Andre Sisco. And the Lions are going to take possession of the football.
Well, partner, I got to tell you, I'm trying to think of something positive to say for this offense, but I'd have to be a spin doctor for that one. This has been a tough performance to watch.
And I think it's hard at this point to actually...
And they are going to score again. Yet another touchdown as they just add to their totals. Looking like they're well on their way to a 2-0 start. All smiles right now on that sideline, isn't it?
As well there should be. It's hard to win a game in the NFL. We hear it all the time. We know that it's difficult. But guess who's smiling? But inside is thinking 24-hour rule because we're going to have to play again next week.
Boss man.
Oh, without a doubt. The head coach, he wants them to feel good, but at the same time, find a way to keep improving.
roughing penalty on the PAT. They'll kick off from 15 yards further upfield. And this will not be returned. It'll come out to the 25.
Here we go, set.
They go back to the air here after the INT on the last drive. And under the Lions' pressure, he's brought down. Troy Anderson in there to record another sack, and that is now 6 on the afternoon for this defensive unit. So now 20 yards to go on second down after the sack. Work to be done. Just 2 minutes remaining here in the fourth quarter of what has been a one-sided affair. So the Vikings in possession of the football as we get you reset. They're looking at second down now as they search for a consolation score. Throwing on second and long. Lance. Hit as he throws there, incomplete.
We've seen this quite a few times in this game. Offensive line unable to keep leverage, unable to keep people away, facing a lot of pressure. Fortunate just to get rid of it.
One of the reasons they're down is that inability, though, to stop the pressure. We saw another example of it there.
On third and long, it's Lance.
And my goodness, another interception.
Picked up by Andre Sisco. And the Lions are going to take possession of the football.
Murray's going to look to throw this thing. And now this is intercepted. Now he's hit on the return. It's a loose football. And I think they are going to get this one back. Boy, that would have been something. Double turnovers. But instead, they'll keep the possession on the INT. Here are the Vikings now to start their next drive.
Well, I hate to say it, but at this point, I don't really know that they're playing to win with this deficit in the fourth quarter. They're just trying to erase that zero on the scoreboard, Charles, and get some type of momentum to carry into the film session tomorrow.
If you get any type of points on the board, it'll count as a moral victory, although no one will talk about that in the post-game press conference. That's not something you mention in the NFL. And this loss, it already stings and will for a while, but everyone on that offense knows it'll sting a lot worse if they don't put some points up on the board.
To throw once more on second and 10. Lance. Over the middle, that's caught by Metcalf. And he's able to get this one all the way past the 30. Line of scrimmage, the 31 now on first and 10.
And Lance going to throw. And that's out to the flat for Swift.
And he's able to take this one up to the 35-yard line.
On play action, Lance.
And he takes a shot on the release as this will be incomplete.
Another throw there off the mark, and obviously he's battled all of the interceptions. Things just haven't been true to form for him. I don't know what he thinks going on out there, CD.
That's a great question, and my suspicion is he's been coached really well to not show that he's having a problem. You know, they always tell you no matter what, you keep throwing the football with confidence. Well, we're not seeing a confident thrower right now. He's off balance, the passing game's off balance, and the defense is taking advantage.
Again, it's Lance. That's complete to DeAndre Swift out of the backfield. And they fake the handoff. Now Lance. And this is incomplete. Oh, it looked like he had a pretty good line on that one. That would have been a big play, but he could not pull it in.
Even with such a big lead late, the effort hasn't lapsed one bit. If the offense wants to score some points in this one, they're going to have to earn it. These guys are not giving up anything.
One last shot at the end zone. And that will be incomplete. They were going for a consolation TD, but it was not to be. And time has run out now on this game. So this one's over. It's a win for the Detroit Lions. And I tell you what, Charles, this might be about as good as it gets. They were incredible.
Yeah, offense was in fine form. The defense threw the shutout at them. I think they worked in concert together. What I like about the offense is they held the ball pretty well. You know, time of possession, exactly what they were looking for in this one. And that helped out their defense. Didn't have to be out there the entire time. So when you do that and you're out there fresh playing, a little extra spring in your step, and it showed up in this one.
They had a ton of spring in their step. Impressive victory. So for the Lions, it's a win here in their home opener as they move to 2-0. And they'll hit the road next week to take on the Houston Texans. Meanwhile, for Minnesota, they'll drop to 0-.